Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Kissimmee, Florida Checkers worker allegedly shot and killed a customer in a dispute over mayonnaise in a fast food order.
New tonight, people at a popular tourist spot in Osceola County running for their lives last night after deputies say a Checkers employee shot and killed a customer all over a fast food order. Good evening, I'm Greg Wormuth.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. We first told you on Eyewitness News at 4 that deputies arrested this man, Elijah McKee, for first-degree murder. This all happening in Old Town next to Fun Spot Kissimmee. Channel 9's Scott Martin is live after talking to people who were there. And Scott, this fast food joint is still a crime scene. Hard to believe this is all over an order.
Martha, and that's exactly what people were telling me out here as well, but the crime scene tape still blocking off the drive-through area. In fact, I talked to one man who says that he had just grabbed dinner here at this Checkers before the shooting, and also workers here at some of the rides and amusement rides here tell me that people started running when they heard the gunshots. A Checkers fast food location next to a tourist destination, now an active crime scene.
There were a whole bunch of cops here. Like, it was scary.
A crowded hotspot where Kelvin Lindsay says he picked up dinner Wednesday night at Checkers, later driving by to find the entire area full of law enforcement.
From every entrance, there was more cops. And I was sitting here like, where are all these officers? You know, why they're here? What are they doing? And then when we finally got up to this area, then this was a concentrated area where a lot of officers was at.
Osceola County deputies say an argument between this man, 23-year-old Elijah Mackey, an employee at Checkers, and a customer got into an argument over a food order. That's when investigators say Mackey drew a gun and shot the customer.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's not that serious, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that serious where you get into an argument and then you wind up taking somebody's life.
People working next to the Checkers tell me they heard gunshots and everyone started running. They shut everything down for the night.
Just thinking about it, I probably would have took off too. And I don't know where I would have took off to, but it's far. So yeah.
Mackey was taken into custody Thursday and faces a first-degree murder charge. People we talked to say there's growing gun violence that needs to stop.
People got to change, like learn how to control your emotions. Like, it's not that serious. A lot of things can get escalated to that point because of misunderstandings.
The sheriff's office telling us that the victim in this case, his name is Wesley Robertson. They say that he died from his injuries after being taken to the hospital. As for that suspect, he is in the Osceola County Jail tonight. Reporting live in Kissimmee, I'm Scott Martin, WFTV Tonight.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place at a Checkers restaurant in Kissimmee, Florida, a 51-year-old customer, Wesley Robertson, was picking up his order from a drive-through window when he made a request for extra mayonnaise packets with his order. And as he made this request to get extra mayonnaise packets with his order, the female who was running the drive-through window allegedly looked to start arguing with him. And as Wesley Robertson allegedly asked to talk to a manager, this is where 23-year-old Elijah Mackey then jumped through the drive-through window and confronted the customer outside of the store, and then began arguing with the customer, Wesley Robertson. And after an alleged derogatory statement was made, this is where Elijah Mackey allegedly pulled a firearm out from under his uniform and then allegedly shot Wesley Robertson. And after he shot Wesley Robertson, he wound up fleeing the scene. And after he wound up fleeing the scene, Wesley Robertson was taken to the hospital where he sadly wound up passing away. And as police went on a manhunt, they eventually found Elijah Mackey hiding in the stairwell of a hotel, and then eventually wound up taking him into custody and then charging him with first-degree murder. Now, the police in Kissimmee, Florida, see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of Elijah Mackey's alleged behavior, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And sadly, what happened here with Elijah Mackey shows what can happen when a man acts impulsively. His entire life can change in an instant. And that's what happened to Elijah Mackey, because he, one, did not know how to stay out of business that was not his own, and two, he did not know how to think critically, and three, he did not know how to navigate through his emotions. Now, when it comes down to this whole situation as related to a customer asking for extra mayonnaise, the female who was working the drive-thru should have just given the customer the mayonnaise, because when it comes to the restaurant, the packets of mayonnaise are just pennies on the dollar, and you're not going to lose anything if you give a customer a couple of extra packets of mayonnaise. No, the company in and of itself basically doesn't care if you give out an extra packet of mayonnaise or two, because they're already getting dollars on the order. But sadly, when it comes down to some of these black women, they're so caught up in their whole feelings of being a gatekeeper, they don't see how they're putting themselves in jeopardy by arguing with someone over something so trivial, or even putting the reputation of a business at jeopardy, arguing over something so trivial. Now, when it comes to this whole situation, it should not have escalated to all of this. And when the customer, Wesley Robertson, asked for extra mayonnaise and started to get into an argument and asked for a manager, that's where 23-year-old Elijah Mackey basically should have stayed in his own lane, because none of this was his business at all. No, as a 23-year-old guy, your job is to stay out of business that's not your own, and go out here and do your job, make your bread, and keep it pushing. Unfortunately, what happened here with Elijah Mackey is he decided to go out here and what many beta males love to do at the job, call himself going the extra mile. But the way he was going the extra mile, he didn't do any sort of critical thinking or used any sort of logic or reason to solve the problem. No, what he was looking to do, I believe in some case, was possibly either play the simp or the white knight, looking to defend the honor of the argumentative female employee who was working the window. And as he was looking to go out here and defend this woman's honor, he looked to jump out this window, looked to confront this customer over something so trivial. And as he looked to confront this customer over something so trivial, he wasn't thinking about looking to protect himself as related to this job or put himself first. No, he was looking to go out here and stand up for a female who wasn't standing up for him. Possibly, this is just me speculating as related to things, he was looking to get into business that wasn't his business. And as he got into this business that wasn't his business, he's looking to go out here and look to argue with this man over a penny packet of mayonnaise that basically the company is not concerned with whatsoever. No, once they got the money for the order, the condiments are nothing to them. No, the condiments ain't nothing to the company. They'll just, managers and even customer service workers will just give them away. But this guy wanted to put something more important and more valuable than those condiments at risk. He put his health at risk by jumping through that window. He put his safety at risk going out here confronting this customer, and eventually escalated things to the point where he wound up putting his freedom at risk and wound up losing all of those things when he got so emotional because the guy called him a derogatory name. Then as he got insulted and got his feelings hurt, this is where dude went out here and pulled the gun out from under his pants and waistband, and then looked to shoot this customer to sate his feelings. And as he looked to sate his feelings as related to this whole situation, he wound up losing everything as related to his whole situation. Now, I have been in the same place as this dude was back when I was in my 20s, when I was working at Food Emporium, and I was bagging groceries. And I know sometimes these customers can be very demanding, and they can be some of them can be disrespectful, but the way you handle the situation is you got to learn how to navigate through your emotions, and navigate through your emotions because you understand that there's something more important than getting into it with this person. If this person back in the day wanted a paper bag, I gave them a paper bag. If they wanted paper and plastic, I gave them a paper and plastic. If they wanted me to pack the groceries a certain way, pack the groceries a certain way, because it didn't mean anything at all. I'm still getting paid the same $5 an hour, and I want to be able to maintain my freedom so I could continue getting that $5 an hour. That's what I was thinking about. And I just thought, okay, if the customer wants this, I'll give the customer exactly what they want. I'll give this customer exactly what they want, because I'm only going to see them maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes out of my day, and I'm going to keep it pushing. Just going to keep it pushing because, okay, customer wants a certain thing, and if it's within the parameters of my job, I'm just going to go out here and give them exactly what they want. That's just the way I handled things when I was working at many of my jobs as related to things like working in a market like Food Emporium, or a place like the City College of New York Science Library. Just sat there, gave the customer exactly what they wanted, and let them continue to go on their way, because I understand that there are more important things in life than looking to get into it with someone over something that don't really matter at the end of the day for the corporate bosses, because the corporate bosses would rather lose a 1-cent pack of mayonnaise rather than lose millions of dollars like they're going to do as related to the lawsuit, as related to the loss of the life of Wesley Robertson. I mean, this man lost his life, and now Checkers is going to be liable for it because they hired an emotional black male who had no discipline, no self-control, and acted impulsively, doing damage to the reputation and brand of Checkers, acting in a way that was not reflecting positively on people as related to the Checkers experience, and not acting in a way that was professional whatsoever as related to the way you're supposed to behave on the job. No, this 23-year-old man who basically possibly was in his first or his possibly second or third job was not really thinking critically about the bigger picture as related to his job. No, any smart thinking man who's at one of these jobs like fast food or retail or working in a place like a supermarket, we have to think more importantly about having self-control, and that's something I had to have for many years when you're dealing with customers. Even have to have it here when I'm dealing with people on YouTube who want to get in the comment section and act real nasty. You have to maintain your professionalism and navigate through your emotions. Navigate through your emotions because you're thinking about getting through the next day and getting through the next day to get paid, and thinking about how you're going to make your money. That's what a smart thinking man does. He's thinking about how he's going to be able to make his next dollar, and not thinking about worrying about, well, this guy want extra mayonnaise. No, he's not going to get into that. I mean, if this black woman want to argue with this guy, he's going to step aside and let her get the manager, let her handle her business, and then let that manager check that female. No, I'm stepping aside. I'm going to stay on these fries over here. Let these fries get nice and crispy and well done. Put them in the bin and keep making my bread and keep making my money, because whatever this chick is doing, that's on her as related to things. I mean, she want to go out here and get upset over extra mayo, and no smart person does that. I mean, I just went to Wendy's on Saturday, and I was in Wendy's and I watched this Hispanic woman. She was working trying to expedite all these orders that got backed up, and somebody asked her for extra sauce, and she just said, okay, here's the extra sauce. Cool, I'm not going to get upset about it. It's just going to be, he gets out the door, and I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get through this shift, as hard as it is, And I could respect that Hispanic woman, because she understood what was the most important thing. Even though they were backed up at that Wendy's on Tremont Avenue, they still went out here and handled their business. And I gotta respect all those staffers. I mean, it was crowded in there, but they handled their business. But this dude, he didn't know how to handle business, because he did not know how to work like a man. No, he did not know how to work like a man, because when a man go to work at one of these jobs, yeah, customers may be acting a fool, but I gotta think about making my bread and making my money and maintaining my freedom so I can continue making my money. I know these jobs, again, are stressful. I know you got stuff coming from the customers. I know you got stuff coming from the management. I know you got stuff coming from your coworkers, because some of these coworkers get nasty, try to get you fired, but don't make yourself into your own worst enemy like this dude did. I mean, Elijah Mackey basically made himself his own worst enemy, wound up going out here acting on impulse, where there are cameras playing at 10 o'clock at night, where there are people, witnesses all over, who could testify to his actions. And what will be the crap on a crap cake, the dingleberry on top of this crap cake, is that same female who he is looking to defend, possibly, is going to be testifying against him in court. And that's the sad fate that's going to await him, as he's now in jail without any bond or any bail, and possibly will be going from working at that job making $15 to $17 an hour to going to the penitentiary if he's convicted and sentenced to life in prison, making 10 cents to $1 an hour. I mean, this dude basically went from working in fast food, working from $15 an hour to $17 an hour. I mean, you went from working for minimum wage or a little bit more, you was making some okay money, to now making no money while you're in jail waiting for trial, and now we'll be making 10 cents to $1 an hour, working in the penitentiary, scavenging for a life, as you're having to eat slop in the cafeteria, worse than the food that they make and serve at Checkers. I mean, you're going from eating food at Checkers and eating and being able to buy food at Checkers to now possibly scavenging as related to trying to tolerate the slop from the cafeteria, and possibly will find up again in this place where you're going to have to try to make deals with guys like Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, in looking to trade booty for things that used to be sold at the corner Dollar Tree or the Arab corner store for under 25 cents to $1. I mean, this guy went from being a free man who was making $15 to $17 an hour, could go out here and buy himself whatever he wanted, and go out here and basically, again, be able to live a halfway decent life, to now again being in a penitentiary working for $1 an hour at the most, and then basically again eating slop and then having to sacrifice your dignity just in order to be able to eat, where you're going to have to possibly trade your front side and the back side to Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles in exchange for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Keef coffee, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand orange drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand mango drink, off-brand strawberry kiwi drink, off-brand apple juice, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand chocolate chip cookies, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand sugar wafers, Hunt's snack pack puddings, beef summer sausage, hot peppers, hot and sour pickles, prison chips, Fritos chips, prison pretzels. You're basically going to be having to trade your front side and your back side for all these items in the commissary, including Velveeta cheese and other assorted items. That's where this 23-year-old young man is going from being able to live that life that he was living to possibly again having his front side and back side traded, and winding up getting spit roasted by all of those dudes. And then after getting his front side and back side filled with these big carbon rods, odds having to deal with Mr. Sprinkles coming in, spraying the front side and the back side with some special sauce, and then having to suffer the ultimate humiliation of Mr. Sprinkles calling all the dudes in from Cell Block D to see his backside completely violated and see him then split the cheeks open in front of all the guys in Cell Block D to see his backside looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And that's the sad fate that this Elijah Mackey, this young man, may possibly wind up suffering, all because he did not know how to navigate through his emotions and stay out of business that it wasn't his. I mean, this guy didn't understand that when you're in these type of jobs, you just stay in your lane, do your work, and then two, navigate through your emotions, where yeah, you may have the feelings of being slighted, you may have the feelings of being upset, but you don't act on those feelings because there's consequences for acting on your feelings. And that's what this young man did not understand, that I understood back when I was basically his same age. I mean, I was 23 years old. I was graduated from college, and I had to take that job in a supermarket because it was all I could get at the time. But I understood, okay, I got to keep my feelings in check. I know that some people like to act a fool at these places like the supermarket or places like retail, and you got to be able to maintain control over yourself. Yeah, these people may slight you, even these bosses may slight you, even these coworkers may get mad at you, but you got to get work through your feelings, because you got to go home at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, the only person who's going to take care of you is you. The only person who's going to take care of you to make your money is you. And you got to understand that this is all about you getting your paper. But sadly, many beta males don't understand this, because they go to the job not to take care of their business, but to get social with other people and get into other people's business. And when you get into other people's business, that's where you go from being a man who's making his own money to winding up becoming a man in crisis. And that's sadly what happened here. This guy basically took a whole situation that this black woman started as related to this extra mayonnaise and escalated it into a situation that turned into an argument. And then this guy, again, trying to be the white knight and get into somebody's business. Now, if you're not the manager, you don't get into that business, because any good manager, he's going to understand, yeah, he asked for extra mayonnaise. Cool. All right. I take some packets from under the counter. I put it in the dude's bag. I call it a day, and he's cool. He drives off. He has a good experience with our store, and he goes on with the store. But when it comes down to beta males, again, they turn minor issues into major problems. And as they turn minor issues into major problems, they turn it into a situation where one man is dead, and now he's going to jail. And the same female who was arguing with this customer is going on to continue making money. That's what these guys don't think critically about. Hey, the chick you was sitting up here trying to play the white knight for, the chick you was trying to simp for at the job. I go in depth on this also in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace. I mean, this chick is going to go on and have her job, go on, continue working at that job. And the family, again, of this guy, again, they lost a person in their life. But the whole thing is, this guy basically lost everything that he didn't need to lose. And he went from being a free man, working a decent minimum wage job, to now being this guy who's going to be a man in crisis when he winds up doing life in this penitentiary for this crime he did not have to commit. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of a beta male and help them get out of that whole mindset and pattern, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn how to identify workplace predators and dangerous work situations, and avoid them all around, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Now available for the first time in paperback, Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.